What if your company spent $200 million to destroy the one thing customers actually loved? That is exactly what Nissan did in 1981. And what happened next became one of the most studied branding disasters in the history of business. Imagine building a name that 85% of American car buyers recognize, a name tied to trust, reliability, and real loyalty. Then one day, you erase it. Not because the product failed, not because of a scandal, simply because the executives in a boardroom decided two names were one too many. That is the story of Datsun. And it is a story every business owner, marketer, and consumer needs to hear. The Datsun name goes back to 1914, when a small Japanese company produced a car called the Dat, named after the initials of three investors. In 1931, a smaller version was introduced and called Datsun, meaning son of Dot. But the word son sounded too much like the Japanese word for loss, so it was changed to Datsun, a nod to the rising sun of Japan. Simple, symbolic, memorable. By the 1950s, Japan was rebuilding after World War II, and Nissan Motor Company began exporting cars under the Datsun name. The first models arrived in America in 1958. They were small and modest, nothing like the powerful V8s rolling out of Detroit. But they had two things going for them. They were affordable, and they almost never broke down. Through the 1960s, Datsun quietly won over college students, young families, and budget-conscious buyers. These were honest, practical cars. They started every morning and saved money at the pump. Then in 1969, Datsun shocked the world with the 240Z, a sleek, stylish sports car with a powerful inline-six engine, offered at nearly half the price of comparable European models. Car magazines could not stop talking about it. Showrooms could not keep them in stock. Suddenly, Japanese cars were not just practical, they were exciting. When the 1973 oil crisis hit, Datsun was perfectly positioned. While American gas guzzlers became a liability, Datsun's fuel-efficient models were delivering over 30 miles per gallon. Sales exploded. By the late 1970s, Datsun had become the #1 import brand in the entire United States. Here is where the story takes a painful turn. Back in Japan, Nissan executives grew uncomfortable with having two separate identities. In Japan, cars were sold as Nissan. In export markets, they were Datsun. To the boardroom, this felt messy, confusing, and inefficient. So in 1981, they announced a plan. Over 3 years, the Datsun name would be phased out. Everything would become Nissan. The company spent over $200 million on the transition. Their campaign slogan was simple: Datsun is Nissan, Nissan is Datsun. But customers did not buy it. Because they did not know Nissan, brand recognition for the Nissan name in America was sitting at just 2%. People walked into dealerships asking where Datsun had gone. Some thought Nissan was a completely different and unproven company. Others simply hesitated and walked out. Between 1982 and 1987, Nissan's United States market share dropped by an estimated 20 to 30%. Meanwhile, Toyota and Honda kept growing, steady and consistent under names customers already trusted. Datsun owners had formed clubs. They raced their cars on weekends. They recommended the brand to friends and family. For them, Datsun was not just a logo, it was part of who they were. And Nissan took that away without fully understanding what it meant. Nissan eventually recovered. By the late 1990s, the brand had rebuilt its global recognition. In 2012, Nissan even tried to bring the Datsun name back as a budget brand in emerging markets. But by 2022, it was discontinued again due to weak sales. Today, Datsun lives on mainly in the hearts of collectors and enthusiasts. Classic models like the 240Z command serious money at auctions. Car clubs still meet. The name still stirs real emotion. The lesson here is powerful and timeless. Brands are not owned by companies, they are held by customers, built over years of trust, emotion, and lived experience. Change a name and you might think you are simplifying. But you could be erasing decades of loyalty in a single decision. If this story made you think differently about the value of a name, hit subscribe, because we have more stories just like this one waiting for you.